Hi, everybody. Sam here. Hope you're having a great day wherever you're at in the world today. I am so glad you have landed on this video, this micro interview that I'm going to be doing with Lori. She is a mindset coach that focuses on reinvention, and she has a thought, tip, or a piece of advice to share with us today. If you are new to Safe Heart Connections, we are an online community group for women that are working on learning to love ourselves more fully. By default, our lives improves and we get to make connections in the community. If you've been around for a while, we're glad you're back here and for a treat with what Lori has to share with us today. And so, Lori, I'm so glad you're here. Take it away. Introduce yourself just a little bit more if you'd like, and then share your tip, thought, or piece of advice.
Sure. I'm glad to be here. Yeah, I am Lori McDowell. And like I said, I'm a mindset coach, and I really focus on reinvention and the idea that reinvention is possible to everyone, any age, any time in life, any place you are. You can always reinvent yourself and you're able to live the life you truly desire. The tip I would like to share today is really about your self-talk. If you know how the mind works, your unconscious mind doesn't recognize negative words. So if I give an example, if I tell you to think of a purple elephant, I'm sure the first thing that pops into everybody's head is a purple elephant. You can't not think of a purple elephant until you think of it. And your unconscious mind sees that purple elephant. It may eventually cross it out, but at first you have to think of it. So when you're talking to yourself and telling yourself things and even doing affirmations and what you want, you need to go where you want to go, not what you don't want. If I say, I don't want my business to fail, the first thing that pops into my unconscious mind is fail. And it thinks fail. And it thinks I want fail because it doesn't recognize the don't. So instead of saying something like, I don't want to fail, you say, I will succeed. Instead of saying, I don't want to be sick, you say, I will be healthy. And that really has an effect because what pops into your unconscious mind can't really tell the difference between reality and fantasy. So if it keeps hearing success, amazing, it just automatically assumes that's true and it'll become your reality. So it's one way your self-talk can really help you get where you want to go. If you focus on where you want to go and you make sure you're always speaking to yourself in the positive and speaking to everyone else in the positive as well. So, thank you.
Yeah, that's really great. One of the things the women have heard me say many times is, how about you try and speak to yourself the way you speak to someone that you love?
That's so true. Yeah, I actually have an exercise we do sometimes where when I say, if you have a problem and you're criticizing yourself, imagine if one of your close friends came to you with that same problem. Like, what advice would you give them? And give that same advice to yourself, because we're so much kinder to other people than we are to ourselves.
We are. And then I like to focus on, there's a book that I read last year, a year and a half ago now. It's still one of my favorite book, probably. It's called The Gap and the Gain by Ben Hardy and Dan Sullivan. They wrote Who Not How and a couple other things, but it talks about how you measure your success backwards. There's several different things that they talk about, measuring your success backwards so that you set a goal, you look back, see how far you came, focus on that versus what you missed. So you focus on the gain all the time. But at the end of the book, they really dig in on evening routines and how, if you want to change your life right before you go to bed, focus on the 3 wins for the day. And then the 3 wins you think you're going to have the next day, because it tells your brain what to focus on as you're sleeping, and then you wake up and you're ready to focus on those things. And that a lot of times those 3 wins that you thought you were going to have the next day, the wins you actually have are even bigger than that. And that's one of my favorite things to do. I've seen such a change in my life when I focus on those 3 things right before I go to bed. And yeah, so what you put in your brain, what you think about, what you say to yourself is truly so important.
It is. And I love that. I always tell my people I work with, definitely celebrate your wins every day. Tell yourself what you did. And it is a gratitude to celebrate your wins. But I had not heard that about celebrate the next day's wins as well. And
it's like you're forward pacing.
Yeah.
And so I have 2 grandkids, a 5-year-old and an 11-year-old. And every time I see them, they call me Samuel, and they say, Samuel, let's do our 3 wins. And so And inevitably, when I say, what were your 3 wins for today? One of them will say, getting to see you. And I'm like, oh, what do you want? Yeah. I'm trying to help teach my grands some of this stuff that I wish I had learned a little earlier in life. So I could have taught my kids. And now my kids they're adults and they get to see me living out a different life. And I'm hoping some of that impacts them as well. And just knowing that I'm responsible for me and how I show up does matter. Putting the right things in my brain is a really good place to start. So I really appreciate the reminder of our self-talk and focusing on what we want. Do you have any kind of closing thoughts before we wrap?
Yes, I guess just one of the things I know people often, I work with a lot of women over 40, and I often hear people say, oh, this, I wish I would have learned this sooner, but it's too late now. And I just want to tell everyone already has everything you need to succeed, or you know how to find it. It's inside you and you just have to find it. And even if you're 90, it's never too late, because if you have one day left, you want to make that a better day than the one before. So reinvention is possible at any age. If there's something you want, there's never a bad time to try to get that, to try to change your life and make it better, because you never know whether you're 20 or 60. I reinvented myself at 60. But if you have one more day, you might as well make that day your best day. And if you think that way every day, it's never too late to reinvent yourself.
Yeah, that's so good. Thank you so much. I'll make sure that all your links will be around, whether they're listening on the podcast, watching on YouTube, or in the community. They'll be able to link through to learn more about you, your coaching, and how they might be able to get connected with you.
Okay, thank you, Sam. This is great.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
You too.